Hi everyone. In this video, we will take a look at the common errors that you are likely to encounter as a beginner. Now that you know the basics and have started using simple formulas, you are likely to encounter a few errors. Excel errors may look scary, but most are easy to fix once you know what they mean. So let's get started. First, we'll take a look at the divide by zero error. So here, I'm dividing this number by 0. And I get a divide by 0 error. So you get the divide by 0 error when a formula attempts to divide a number by 0 or by an empty cell. Since this is not possible mathematically, Excel gives an error to let you know that some data is missing or is incomplete. So to fix it, you just look at the denominator. It can't be 0, so change it. This I wanted this total. I'll replace the 0 by this number. You get a value. I can format it as a percentage, but for the time being, I'll leave it as a big number. You can also use the IFERROR function. IFERROR function in Excel traps errors and returns a custom message that you can define. I've covered IFERROR a bit later in the video. At this point, I would like to say that if you're liking the video, please subscribe to our channel. Next, we'll take a look at the name error in Excel. You get the name error in Excel when Excel is unable to recognize text within the formula. It could be due to misspelled function, unquoted text, or even invalid reference. Let's see it with an example. Here I'll do a typing mistake. Instead of sum, I'll say SU, and then I will select the range of values to add. I'll hit enter. You see it gives the name error because Excel is not able to understand what SU is, so it gives a name error. Even this fails because in the denominator it is referencing this total, but it is not able to find a proper value, so it gives the name error. To fix this error, correct your spellings and check the names of the functions that you use. I'll go here and I'll say sum. So it now removes the error and everything works fine. Next, we take a look at the value error in Excel. You get the value error when a formula or function is trying to use the wrong type of data. Let's say you are trying to divide or multiply by a number, but for some reason the number has been stored as text. In that case, Excel will throw a value error. So here, for example, this percentage, I divide by this number. Let's say I'll type a number here and place it in apostrophe. You see, Excel throws a value error because it sees the denominator as text, and so it is not able to perform the division. So whenever you get the value error, you must remove any unwanted spaces or apostrophes. Better is to convert the text to numbers. I've covered these kinds of errors in another video. Do check it out. Next, we take a look at the NA error in Excel. NA means not available. You usually get this error when you do a lookup on some value and that value is missing in the source table. So let's say, for example, in this data, I'll try to do a lookup for phone and I'll retrieve the 2026 data. So here I'll do a lookup. I'll give the range. I'll say I'm looking for phone and I want the corresponding number from 2026, which is the second column. I'm looking for an exact match. Say enter. So it returns 1900. Let's say instead of phone, I give pen. You see it returns a NA error. So it means not available. It is not able to find pen in the lookup data. So either the value could be missing or you may have given the wrong spellings. So in either of the cases, it is going to return a NA error. So you need to check if the lookup value exists and the spelling correct. Go back and change it to phone and you see the error disappears. Next, we take a look at the hashes error. So you are also very likely to encounter hashes in your data and you might be wondering how did the hashes come in the data. I'll show you an example. You get hashes when the columns are too narrow. So here I'll reduce this column width. You see suddenly all the numbers turn to hashes inside that column. I'll do this for tax also. So you see all the hashes in the column. When you get an Excel file and you see these hashes, you must go and increase the column width and all these hashes will disappear. The quickest way to fix this is just to double click the boundary between the two columns. It expands the column slightly smaller. Again, double click here. It expands and instantly shows the real values. There are times when you may see the formula in the cell instead of the result. This can happen if you have given the formula inside quotes, as in this case. I've placed the formula inside quotes by mistake. So just go and remove the quotes and it should be fine. You must also check that the format is general and not text. This will ensure the formula works correctly and it shows the result instead of the formula itself. Here's a shortcut you can use to edit a cell. So instead of double clicking the cell to go inside the cell and make the changes, you can just click F2. You see the cursor is now inside the cell. Just go and make the changes. So use the F2 shortcut to quickly edit the cell without using the mouse. Next, I'll show you the IFERROR function. The IFERROR function in Excel catches formula errors and replaces them with a message that you can define. Let's see how to use it with a couple of examples. Now, if I divide the denominator by 0, I'll get an error. Now, instead of showing this error, I want to show 0 when you accidentally divide by 0. In that case, we use IFERROR function. I'll say is equal to IFERROR. Then within that, I'll give the value. In this case, the division of the two numbers. And then I want Excel to return 0. So I don't want Excel to show divide by 0 error. Say enter. So you see it returns 0. Now instead of dividing by 0, I'll say this number. You see it returns the proper value. Same thing we can do for lookup also. So I gave phone and for phone I retrieved 1900. If I give pen, it returns a NA error. So I don't want Excel to show me this error. Instead I want Excel to say not found. So I'll use the IFERROR function. In the first parameter I'll give the VLOOKUP, and if I get an error I'll show not found. It returns not found because I'm looking for pen. It will replace the NA error with not found. Instead of pen, if I use phone, it will return the matching value, which is 1900. In that case, IFERROR ignores the second part. This is how you use IFERROR function to replace errors with your custom message. So we covered most of the common mistakes that beginners face. So here are some common prevention tips if you don't want to see errors. Always check spelling, avoid blank lookup values, use the correct data types, and review formulas before copying. These checks will ensure you do not get errors. Most Excel errors are simply hints that something needs attention. By following the common prevention tips, you can ensure you get very few errors. That's all in this video. If you liked the video, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.